Welcome, everyone, to The Lights of Miiva, episode 45. My name is Sam Lander. I'll be your GM, and I have some players.
Well, first up, Exerter playing Lumi, but he will be a little bit later. He's a druid.
I'm Valric playing Elros, the Battlemaster Fighter.
Hi, I'm Suda playing Risha, the roguelock who is currently missing all of her brain cells. All one of them.
Hi, I am Sadie playing Zari, the giant barbarian.
And I'm Intitude, and I'm playing Crier the monk.
Ashes, you're muted.
You are correct. And I'm Ashes, and I play Eberkeith the Wizard.
So last time, you guys made it to the to the city of Haifa, where you dropped off the giant and your co-adventurers, sea slugs, and let them do what you're gonna do, what they're gonna do. And you went shopping in town, with the exception of Risha, who decided to go get a bath because a bath was very important. And you were summoned to the First Lord's office. One of you, well, no longer naked because she got herself dressed before heading, and met with the First Lord, who let you know that his daughter was missing and he was willing to offer a bounty for her return. Bounty being a magical item, a crystal bell. And for that end, he was going to send along Oscar, her butler, along with some extra money to get you guys set up in town, get you a place to rent, and basically support you while you were there. You didn't disagree with this task, and he tried to rush you to go ahead and head there this afternoon, but with some conversation with Zuza, his advisor, you think you have an overnight stay in town here before heading out. And you discovered what the crystal bell would do. It is a very powerful magic item, but has no bad uses, and I don't know why everybody's so worried about it. So you guys are, I think we left off with you in the dining hall of the castle, having eaten a hearty meal, and you are left there with the sounds of soldiers and clerks and everybody else probably moving back to their tasks, as it is in the afternoon at this point.
I'll say, let's find a place to stay and have a drink.
Yep, probably best to spend a night and then take the portal in the morning, because we don't want to be navigating around, and that'll give the Lord some time to get things organized with paperwork and such. So
Then our butler can arrange the home a little bit better than rushing it in the evening.
So, like, what should we do once we get to Volley? Should we go, like, straight to the... How's the city organized? Is it, like, council, or, like, another lord, or...
History would get you that information. So you want to roll me a history check? It exists. Actually, considering the natural one, that's actually really good, Eberkeith. But yeah, Eberkeith, Volley exists. Zari with a 9. Yeah, it's there. It's to the east, down the river.
Never had much concern.
With a 19. Crier, you've read up pretty extensively on Volley. It is a city to the east of here, about somewhere between a week and a half away. Part of the way there, the river kind of opens up, and there is a regular river traffic up and down. I'm gonna move it to the overmap just so we can have visuals on where we're here. The river kind of opens up a little bit, slows down in its passage, and it's big enough at that point that it can be either like Vuji drawn barges or small sail ships can make their way up and down the river. And you know that there is a large lake at Volley, or Vala? V-A-L, I swear. Dear goodness, I spell things V-A-A-L-I. Why is that spelled wrong? Map level. Because reasons. Don't worry about it. Fixed. All right. Nope. There we go. Everything is fine. Large lake heading going upriver from the city. It is ruled by a man who calls himself the King of the Feyan. It's a little bit of a putting on airs. Volley is by far the largest Feyan city at about 50 to 60,000 people. That said, he is the king of the Feyan the same way that trying to find a good analogy. And I'm failing. All of the cities are independent. There are no armies that can cover the Feyan Badland. Volley is the most important trade hub of the Feyan peoples, and there's a lot of trade that goes through there, but they don't project power and control out past their. They don't project power out far enough to control Ava, which is only a week and a half upriver from them. 200 miles is a large stretch for how much power they project, right? But there is, he calls himself the King of the Feyan. Nobody tells him he's wrong because he is commander of the army. And there is a relatively sizable army in Volley as well. Mostly because there is a lot of land to protect to supply food and supplies to that many people. Being directly on the Sea of Tears, or Sea of Knives, Sea of the Sea. I'm forgetting my own world building. That's great. They do have a lot of bounty from the ocean that comes in to feed the city as well. They're not dependent as entirely on farmland. And there is a relatively sizable forest between Volley and the next city up, which they can supply wood and other supplies like that from, that a lot of the other cities further up out of the coast area don't have access to. Beneath him is a council of lords that is technically elected, but they are elected, like there's a council of 4 lords who are elected from probably 16 that control large portions of city and wealth in the city or in the surrounding areas. Yeah. That's what you know. Or you can feel free to ask a couple questions.
What's the king's name?
That's ridiculous. I don't know why you would want a king's name. That's the wrong... that's a good name. Kazimir. K-A-Z-I-I-M-I-R.
And it's a hereditary king, or
It
Do they get
is.
overthrown regularly?
I would say it is theoretically a hereditary king, in that he is not immune from being overthrown, and he is the first in his line. But he has he's ruled for like 40-ish years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So the big disruption back 18 years ago wasn't enough to unseat him, and he is not hated.
Okay.
What's the biggest myth about the city? Could be not a myth, but you know, what's the biggest story about something happening in the city that
Volley
you know?
has never fallen. There is the myth of the Feyan that there's this growth and rebirth cycle where you grow up and then tragedy happens and you die back. You know, the civilization falls and is restored, and then you grow back up and there's this time of bounty. The myth of Volley is that it has never fallen, that it has never been conquered from outside forces, and it has never fallen into complete destitution. The king would tell you that it is his leadership that is the reason behind the stability of the city.
Okay.
Never fallen in thousands of years, and his 40-year of power arranged that.
Right. Yes, you got it exactly.
So, with the letter of introduction in hand, it might still take us maybe a week or two to actually get an audience with the council or the king. So, we should probably find a place to stay. Does the it has an adventurers guild? Most big cities do, except for Ava because it's weird. And does it have any connection to the one that we are a part of in Haifa? Or is it separate?
Theoretically, yes. But effectively, no.
Okay.
They all talk with each other. And it's one of those things where somebody who's a bad adventurer in, say, Haifa or well, not Ava, but in Haifa or Volley can't necessarily escape their bad actions by fleeing upriver. Say you have somebody who murders their party and steals all their stuff instead of doing their adventuring thing, right? And it manages to pass it off to authorities as, well, the adventure went bad, and I just brought home the effects of my party members to give them to their families, and it wasn't murder. I didn't kill them. It was that monster that killed them that we were supposed to go after. Do that once and it might be believable. Do that more than once and you get a bad reputation. At least as somebody who is cursed, and so the adventurers guilds talk to each other, and so somebody can't just go, nobody wants to party with me here, I'm gonna go up river and start a new party up there and do that.
Okay, so we might be able to get some temporary lodgings at the Adventurers Guild.
Oscar has everything arranged for us, as far as I believe.
That was what was implied.
Okay.
Or that Oscar would arrange things for you.
Once we got there.
Once you got there. Well, you're not there yet.
Yeah. So, yeah. Make contact with the Adventurers Guild. Probably make contact with the Thieves Guild. It is my best guess that this is where our Thief Lord is based out of. So Risha, that will be a job for you.
That has
And
a job.
yeah, to make contact with the Thieves Guild in Volley.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
probably be Scanlan.
We'll see.
Okay. And then, well, I guess look around the city and maybe find some work, or maybe investigate some about Tiasa. So that is the plan, I
Maybe the
suppose.
Adventurers Guild has something heard about the wooden limes or something.
Uh, well, the sea slugs said they killed 3 of them already.
3 left to go.
Yep. But if they made it out of the city, I'm not really worried about them. They can come find us if they want to fight.
Oh, I want to fight. If they're in Folly and they are there, I'm gonna seek them.
Lumi, you do bring up a good point. It might be. Let's hope that the falsities from Georgie have not reached the Adventurers Guild in Volley.
Probably has, but also probably been disproven, question mark.
It's been 6 months, so I'm sure RP has been able to get a message down the river.
Yeah, so I think it's been disproven that we are not bad guys anymore, and they are.
Okay, so
You guys might not be, but I'm definitely a bad girl.
Let's agree on that.
yes, but you're not a bad girl in terms of people are actively seeking you out.
Aren't they, though?
Only gods.
See,
And
but
Fey
that's the way I
Queens.
like it. Only the best of people are seeking me out.
Let's try to avoid the worst of people. Okay, so that's the plan. I guess we go find Oscar and maybe.
But I thought you wanted me to investigate the Thieves Guild. But then you tell me
Oh,
to avoid the worst of people? Make up your mind!
I mean, outright murderers. Scanlan doesn't seem that bad.
Oh, well, that's different. Okay.
All right. So, Scanlan, or not Scanlan, Oscar is at the front gate or front waiting area of the castle. And you guys are led there. Ava, there we go. You guys are led there after having eaten, and he's waiting for you. He has a letter in his hand which he offers to the group. It is sealed with the crest of Ava, and it is addressed to council member Bitra, Biitra.
Zari takes that, I guess.
Did you want to go today, or we do have permission to stay the night if you wish?
If we get there today, can you set up lodgings for us by the evening?
Probably, yes. I have been given some contacts to ask about for that purpose. And if all else fails, an inn for the night, and then someplace more respectable tomorrow.
Well, if you all don't have any objections, I'm fine with doing that.
Yep.
Yep. So,
All right.
lead the way, good sir.
He bows and then goes to find a guard, which there are plenty, and says something low that you guys have trouble hearing. And the guard motions for you all to follow him. And a few short minutes later, you are standing outside of the secret passage, where Zuza is leaning against the wall and says, "This evening, then? All right. Please follow me." And she once the area clears out, she leads you in through the passageway. More along the lines of, they're ready to go now, Lumi. Brings you through the passageway and down to the teleportation circle that you've seen before. And as you guys are arranging yourselves into the circle, she grips Oscar by the shoulder and looks very intensely into him, like trying to convey something internally. She's all right. Please gather in the circle, and once I finish reading this, you will be in Folly. Good luck, good hunting, be safe. And she unrolls a scroll and begins casting.
I bring up my notes from the teleportation circle that I made here. Is the teleportation circle here still the same symbols?
Yep. It is the same symbology as before. I think teleportation circle's a 10-minute casting. I don't actually remember. It's at least
As a ritual, yes.
Yeah, it's at least a minute. I don't think it's a turn. Either way, it takes some time. And you guys feel the regular uncomfortable sensation of being in one place, 1 minute cast, fair enough, and suddenly being in another place. And the first impression that you get from being in this dark room with the light from the teleportation circle and whatever artificial lighting was there is bright afternoon sunlight. The second impression that you get is rotten salt. The third impression that you get is rotten fish. And there are, like, you are hit full in the mouth, full in the face with this smell of rot and salt and cool breeze and afternoon sunlight. And you are standing in one of 4 circles of teleportation in a large open area. To the kind of to your right, you can see down the street all the way to a coast, a rocky coast. I should go ahead and draw you all here. Rocky coast with I call it a promenade or a walkway that heads off either direction up the coast. There is a low fence, not really high enough to like prevent you from like jumping it if you really wanted to, but there's a low fence kind of surrounding this area, and in the distance you hear somebody call out saying, please clear the circle, come this way.
We'll step that way, I guess.
So there's an opening in the fence. There is somebody wearing breastplate. They have a polearm weapon leaning against the fence next to them. They have a book in front of them on a little lectern, probably is the most correct term. And like a charcoal pencil. And this person looks you over and says, any trade goods or cursed items to declare? Can I get a perception check from everybody as well, please?
I'm looking everywhere where I'm supposed to be. Is not.
All right. So Lumi, Iberkeet, and Elros, you see this person write down adventuring party and then the symbol for 6. Or sorry, 7. And they kind of inset a little bit and then declare, and then right underneath that declares and then colon.
I don't think we have anything.
You see him scribble on his book, or their book, and they look back at you and go, reason for entering Volley. You speak. You are fan. Okay. Reason for visiting Volley.
Some shopping.
We're here to speak to the council on behalf of the Lord of Ava.
Oh yeah, that as well.
They nod and goes, welcome to the city, cause no trouble.
Thank you very much, sir. And I take a bow.
As you guys pass through this gate, you feel a tingle. As each of you passes through the gate, you feel a tingle pass over you. I don't think any of you have any cursed items currently. If you do, I don't remember them.
I might, depending if it's cursed or not.
We got the box with a heart.
Yeah, the box with the heart.
Oh, you do? Is that considered cursed? No, not technically. He didn't say evil items. He said cursed items. I don't know that it's evil either, but from the rules of how cursed items work in D&D, it is not cursed. You don't have any like inability to leave it in a place or anything like that. You also don't have any trade goods. And as the last of you leave, you hear a small tone, a more kind of a ping bong that just permeates everywhere in this place. And the guard who you pass by pays it no attention. Yeah. And you are in the city. Oscar goes, there is a place over here where I believe they sell maps of the city. I will go get us one. And then I am headed to the Sea Ward. That is where I am going to be looking for. I was told to look for a place to stay. If you don't mind hanging out here for a few minutes, I will be back.
I will gladly escort you.
He nods. And he heads off. Off to, like, surrounding this place are wealthy looking shops. Like, everywhere is as good a shop as you guys have seen in your lives. Fair thing to say that many of them are probably better than all but the highest level of shop you have ever been in. A couple of them almost to the point of being gaudy. And Oscar heads into a shop that smells strongly of paper and ink. And there's just this subtle scratching of pins in the background as you enter this place. There is a middle-aged fan behind the counter. She is heavier set, wearing like bright clothing. Her skin is a deep dusky brown color. She has very striking blue eyes, and her hands are stained so darkly with blue ink that despite the color of her skin, it is obvious that she spends more time covered in ink than not. As you walk in, she looks up from what she is doing and smiles at you all and says, Melba's maps, may I help?
I look at Oscar. Or Oscar.
Oscar goes up and says, I am led to believe that I can purchase a map of the city here. And she nods and goes, magical or otherwise? And he looks back at you guys.
What's good about the magical one?
The magical one will let you know where you currently are so long as you are above ground.
That seems useful.
Yeah.
It is our most popular map by far of the city. And she reaches down and it comes in an not ivory, chitin carrying case for only 1 brass more. It is 150 brass.
Yeah, sure. We'll take it. And looking back at Oscar.
Oscar nods and gets out his coinage from a pouch that is too small to hold the coinage. And he counts out 151 brass and slides them over and takes the it is obviously a giant crab's leg made into a scroll case.
Hey, Risha, look, bugs.
And she goes, yes, and here for my fine newcomers to the city, a non-magical map of the city as well, just in case you need to split up, or a second magical one would only be 150 more.
Maybe a strange question, but do you have a map of the sewers as well?
She pauses for a second and then nods and says, "Ah, you are adventurers then. The sewers map is dependent upon the level of completeness you wish, how much it costs, and whether or not you want it magical."
Okay, but if we might need one, we know where to get one.
She nods. Yes.
And in what district are we now? I look at the magical map.
She goes, "This is the dock ward." And she points out your location on the map, and it becomes obvious once it is pointed out the difference between the magical marker of where you are and the rest of the background of the map. It is the marker of where you are is a, call it a top-down view of the person holding the map, as if seen from the sky.
So if I hold it, you just see a bald circle.
Shoulders with javelins sticking up behind your backpack. Yeah.
Cool.
Real fast. Isn't this the city that I'm supposed to drop the heart off in?
He just said take it to a new place. He didn't specify a city. He just said take it to a place with people. Because he can't make deals with demons.
I am not part of that deal.
That and Elros's mind was wiped, so he doesn't know exactly what. So just gonna drop it off.
All right. Do you literally just drop it off in here, Elros?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
That would be bad. No. No. I don't want a house sprouting where a current store is. No.
So it's only maps in here, or other stuff as well?
She smiles at you and says, "Well, this is Melba's maps."
How detailed is the map that we got? Like, are there shop names on it, and that we can see where we need to go for items, or where the council entrance is and stuff like that?
It is very much like the map that you see on Roll20, where the wards are listed out. You can actually touch the map and move the name of the ward. I mean, you can't do that here, but move the name of the ward like out of the way if you're looking for a specific building. But like the buildings themselves are not named, and you can't like pinch zoom in to get better detail. It is a 11 by 17 sideways view of this map, basically. So 17 by 11.
Making of maps, you surely know where to go if we need to find some stuff.
I mean, obviously. What are you looking for?
We have a letter for Bitra.
You will find her in the castle ward. Ask there, and they will lead you to the council chambers, where Bitra can be found.
Okay, thank you very much.
She nods, and puts the money away.
Okay, Sea Ward next.
Oscar nods and says, "All right, I'm headed to the Sea Ward. I think I can get where did the non-magical version go?
Risha?
That one has it, and I'll thumb over to Risha.
Yeah, Risha, that's with that sleight of hand, 100% did not sneak it.
I got plans for this one. Don't worry about it.
We can get it back later. He has to get us a place to stay first.
You can please stay. Fine.
I quickly ask back while we're walking away. What does another non-magical map cost?
1 brass.
I'll toss 1 brass. Look at Risha. Well, better get it.
Ooh, shiny.
Not the brass.
The brass is captured midair, and Risha, as you rush towards the counter, you are presented with a map.
Ooh. Risha will immediately pull out a quill and start making marks.
All right. So you guys, it's a good half hour, 45-minute walk from the dock ward into the sea ward. Oscar, using the map and his own wayfinding ability, leads the way to a gatehouse that is that is actually, yes, there. Leads the way there. This is the densest most people you guys have ever been in and around. I guess densest is wrong. This place feels busy because Haifa was more populous per square kilometer than Volley is, because there were a bunch of refugees in Haifa. But this is definitely busier and more like you feel a little lost before too long. And it isn't very long until you guys see non-Feyan race. Obviously non-Feyan races running around. You see a couple of kobolds chatting with each other, speaking in Draconic, just casually walking down the street. You see a sewer open up, and a goblin crawl out of it and then recover the sewer covering. And this place is busy. Race choice expanded if we reroll for any reason. Fair enough. This place is busy. But you guys are able to, after about 45 minutes ish, work your way towards the sea ward. And Oscar looks at you and goes, do you want to go visit the council tonight, or do you want to just stay the night here? I think it's a bit late for me to secure a house to stay in. But he looks up and goes, there seem to be a number of inns and taverns nearby that look to be good enough for our purposes for the evening. I will leave it up to you. We can separate here now, and I will meet you here at Sunfall, or if you want to come with me until I find a place of lodging, then feel free to as well.
I think we should find a place of lodging for tonight, and then we'll head to the council early in the morning.
He nods. Very well, ma'am. And he leads you. He heads further into the sea ward.
Yeah, especially since I ain't going anywhere in these dirty clothes.
It's not very long until you see a nice inn. It is like the first story is stone, but it is well pointed, well grouted. It is got 3 floors of wooden structure above the stone floor, and in it, or the sign is a empty outline of, you're not sure if it's a cow or a bull, but some sort of bovine. And he goes, yeah, this is the place. This is the Color Animal Inn. I was told about this place. Come on. And he heads inside. It is late afternoon at this point, so there is a tavern on the first floor that takes up most of it. And it is not very active at this time of day. On the back wall, there is a whitewashed plaster wall with 15 animal symbols, varying from regular Vuji, beef, dog, to fantastical griffins or rocks or other mythological creatures. Not mythological is the wrong word for a D&D game, but you know what I mean. And Oscar heads up to the bar and speaks in low tones to the barkeep. The waitress comes up to the rest of you as you're standing there, and she goes, bar service, or would you like a table?
Table, please.
She nods. Come this way. And she leads you to a table that will hold 8. Kind of in the middle of the room. She goes, what can I get you for this round?
I don't mind some beers.
Yeah, just some ales and whatever whatever basic meal you have for tonight.
She nods and
Tea,
says,
please.
and a tea for you. All right. Beers around except for 1 tea. All right, and whatever's on to cook. All right. Sounds good. And she without writing this down, because it's a fairly simple order, heads back towards the bar. About this time, Oscar comes up to you guys and says, I was able to secure 4 rooms for the night. And he puts the 4 keys on the table. Divide up as you see fit. I am willing to sleep with whomever would choose to sleep with me.
Thanks, but you're not really my type.
He just sighs heavily. About the time this is going on, there's the thunk of pewter mugs spread around the table, with a pitcher of beer set in the middle, and a nice porcelain cup for you, Lumi, with a tea kettle that has loose leaf tea steeping inside of the kettle. You can smell it. It smells nice. Not amazing, but nice. The ale is a warm brewed, it's a fairly dark, but not terribly bitter beer. Very, very heavy on rye, sprouted, what is it called? The thing that you make beer out of.
Barley?
Barley, yes, thank you. Barley notes. Very lightly hopped. But you can taste like chocolates and charcoal and other dark flavors in it. Molasses. But like it's not terribly dry either. It's a fairly young beer. And your tea is just a local herbal concoction, but good quality herbs.
Elrose will down his instantly and say, "Well, I got something to take care of." He'll pat his side where you can't see the box because it's behind his cloak, but he'll pat his side so they know what he's talking about. And he's gonna head out. And don't worry, I'll find my way back. This place is called like the Rainbow Squirrel or something like that. Colorful stuff. I'll figure it out. And then he leaves.
Find a graveyard or something.
All right.
Good point.
I'll come back
That's
to
where
you
he
in a minute,
belongs.
Elros. I think that'll take a little bit, so I'll come back to you in a minute, Elros.
All right.
The rest of you, it's not very long until enough plates for all of you are served. There is crab on the half shell, along with some sort of seafood soup and seafood, sea creature like fish. That's the word. Soup, as well as like a wheat bread. Not terribly. It's a whole wheat bread. And thick pats of Vuji butter are on the side. The crab leg it's split in half, and each of you gets like a 3-inch section that's like 6 inches. It's like a 3-inch by 6-inch half of a crab leg.
Okay. I know we've seen fish before because we have a river through our city.
Yes.
But crabs.
Right.
Is that something that we have seen before?
Yes, river crabs.
Yeah, you've seen the giant version of river crabs when Lumi turned into one.
Okay. So it's not like, what the heck is this?
Right. The only what the heck of this part of this river crab is, so Lumi as a giant crab, legs are about the size of, human thighs. This is bigger than that, and there's no noticeable taper to it, and there's like servings for 6 of you. So however this crab was, it was very large. The seafood soup itself, or would you be called seafood? Whatever. Is oysters and mussels and some sort of white fish in a spicy spicy herby broth, very hearty, not very oily, but very hearty, lots of meat in it. The crab itself is steamed and simply served with just salt on the side that you can serve with yourself. The butter itself is very rich, probably churned today, and the bread is fresh.
Risha picks up her crab leg and goes, "This isn't one of your relatives, is it, Lumi?"
No, you can have mine. And Lumi will shove his servings into the middle of the table.
Oscar kind of gives you a concerned look, but doesn't say anything. All right. Elros, you head out of the Color Animal Inn, and you place your hand on the box, and there is just the faintest pulse of somebody who is asleep, but not because they've been knocked out, but just that slow sleeping pulse that somebody has. And you head off into the city. Which direction do you go in?
I would assume Elro's seen the map /
Yes.
maybe has been here before from growing up being a merchant.
You've maybe been here once before, and you know how to navigate a city from a remembered map, at least somewhat. A lot of it is find this landmark and head that direction from there, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think he's gonna head north away from like the trade ward and the dock ward, where
Okay.
there's less working people.
So as you head north towards the canal ward, the buildings become progressively fancier. And as you get to the large, straight-sided, you want to call it a river, but maybe it's actually like a canal. You see that across this river, the houses go from decent but kind of older, little more dilapidated, to large, well-appointed, basically fancier. Not necessarily like high noble housing, but definitely higher wealth level housing. You don't have any issues, like there's nobody stops you from crossing into the canal ward from this side. But given your general like armor and weapon and everything else, you can tell that people occasionally are giving you extra glances.
Well, shoot, I knew I was good looking. Dang. So I'm gonna head west, I guess, like towards the more dilapidated houses, because remembering what his place looked like, don't want him to be anywhere too fancy.
So sticking more on the south side of the river over here, towards the north-southwest edge. Okay.
Yeah.
You get a little further on, and you find an open field. And you go, well, you think a house could grow here, and this seems like a good idea. And you go to place the heart down in this open space. And then you find yourself standing somewhere in this city. And on your back is a giant tortoiseshell that has been crafted to be like has the straps for a shield, and you don't remember how you got here.
Man, this guy. Okay. He'll just wander around, and I'm pretty sure in the city it's pretty easy to find someone, right?
Oh yeah, there's people all over the place. Walking around doing errands. Occasionally you'll see the people who look like they're wearing the same clothing as the city watch guy that stopped you at the dock ward after you guys got into the city.
Okay, he'll just look for someone that's doesn't look like they're urgently doing something or busy at the moment. Just any guy, be like, hey, can you point me towards the C ward?
Oh, C ward? Sure. What you do is you cross the canal here and go up until you get to the next major intersection after you cross another canal, and then you want to turn right on that, and then he gives you like another 2-minute spiel of how you get towards the C ward that you think you got, but it's mostly turning towards the east, and so it's follow the road for a bit north, turn east, follow the road, it kind of curves a bit north again, turn east again, and then you'll see this the wall, and you can kind of work your way towards there that way.
All right, great, thank you. I'm from the south, so that's very relatable. So we can Go that way.
So Oscar goes, I'm gonna go out tonight and look around to see what I can find. Otherwise, the inn and the food and everything are paid for. I have an open tab. The barkeep told me he wouldn't overserve, but I trust you. The first daughter found you very dear, and so I find that I trust you. And he goes, that said, I have work to do, and so I go to start it, and hopefully by tomorrow sometime I will have more words for you. And he gets up, bows at the table, and heads out the door.
I never had my own butler before.
I think he's the first one I've ever met, personally.
Oh, some of my friends in the monastery were butlers, but never had one.
As the evening progresses, eventually you see Elros walking back into the inn. The tortoiseshell is kind of noticeable because it's the size of his back.
New toy, Elros?
As I was just walking towards the table to sit down, first of all, I did not poach. I'm not that type of guy. Second of all, I don't even know what this is. Can someone look at it?
It looks like a tortoiseshell.
Yeah, but I got this like really cool sword from the guy, so I just want to know what it is. Just Ibrahim, would you mind taking a look?
Sure, what is that?
I just want to check if it is magical or not.
It looks magical. It's got something scribed on the inside of the shell.
Yeah, looks more than just a tortoiseshell. Maybe Ibrahim can shine a light.
Yeah, if you give me a little time.
Oh yeah, totally yours. And Eros will like plop it down in a comfortable position for Ibrahim to take a look at it.
So I can cast Detect Magic and Identify as rituals. So,
Right.
It's magical.
You detect magic on it. It is in fact magical. It would have the School of Transmutation, I believe, on it.
And what about an Identify spell?
An
as a
identify
ritual?
spell. This is the tortoise, the animated tortoise shell. It's an animated shield.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's definitely pretty good.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, go ahead and explain what it is and how to use it.
Awesome. Just adding it to my character. Elros will look at both of his shields and try to figure out which one he wants to use.
You can only gain the benefit of one shield, despite one
Yep.
of them floating for you.
Decisions. But this one makes funny faces, so I'm not sure.
That's right. You had the Shield of Smiles or whatever it's called.
Hold up. Shield of Expression.
Yes. Which I think we determined is a representation of your current mood.
Yes, that is the one. And right now it looks confused.
Nice. Overview of the city. All right, Lumi. You get a pretty good view of the city as a raven. It looks fairly wealthy, from your perspective. Relatively clean streets. You don't see a whole lot of decay. Off to the west, just outside of town, you do see the multicolored nomad huts that you occasionally saw, or nomad tents that you occasionally saw in Haifa as you were growing up. Although these tents look much more permanent than, like, there's organized pathways in between them. It's pretty obvious that these tents, if not permanent, at the very least, are well, like, they're a city in their own right, or they're a village in their own right. And yeah, the trade ward itself is, a lot of the buildings are fully made of stone, thick walled, but otherwise fairly rich looking. There are several, outside of these city walls, there are several, like, lower class, I guess you call it, housing areas. We're unsure if they're people who can't afford to live in the city proper, or if they are simply, like, people who have day jobs in the fields and so don't want to have to pass through the gates to get in and out of the city. And in the early evening, this place is vibrant and busy, but not urgent. You don't get a sense from the motions of people that they're, like, skittering from place to place. They walk with ease and confidence. About 8:30 p.m. Oscar comes back into this place. Did you guys determine who gets what rooms?
Nope,
Fair enough.
not yet.
So he'll come back up to you and say, I have a couple of good leads. I think with the funds that I was given and the funds that we have left, I can set us up for at least a month in the city. With a apartment large enough for all of us. I will have to talk with the owner tomorrow, though.
Okay, nice work.
Did you decide on arrangements for tonight? He looks at the 4 keys still hanging out on the table.
I don't care.
I think, Oscar, you'll be rooming with me. Risha and Iberki will be in a room. Elros and Lumi, and then Cryor and
No one.
Thank you. Yeah.
No one?
Yeah, 'cause
4 potentially double rooms, 7 people.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
thought there was 3 rooms.
4 rooms.
Oh, okay.
I got my own room.
Has this ever happened to before to you in your life, Cryor?
Yes.
Okay.
I have my own place. I had my own place in the old city that I paid for.
So not so weird then.
Not so weird, but normally when we adventure, I just sleep wherever I can. I don't
Right.
care.
Oscar nods and says, "All right, I am going to go ahead and head to bed. He looks at Risha and smiles a little bit. They have baths for you, if you wish. Just talk to one of the barmaids, and she will show you what to go to. Otherwise, I will find the place, and tomorrow afternoon I will be back here to show you show you where we go for lodgings from then on.
Yay!
He gets up and bows at the 6 of you and heads off to the room that he's going to share with Zari.
Is there one of those maids at this point just walking around? Not a bartender, but a housemate or something?
They're at this point the place is filling up. You have been supplied with sufficient beer to be pleasant, but not so much to get yourselves drunk.
Oh, I won't get myself drunk.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But you know, every 5-10 minutes, barmaid will come by, just check the table, make sure there isn't anything that needs to be taken away, or nobody wants anything to eat or to drink extra. The place is fairly busy at this point. A lot of people wearing nice working clothing. You see scribes with ink-stained hands, and you see artisans with like small scars on hands and arms, as if cut by very sharp tools. And generally speaking, low murmuring, no real intense, like, there's no drinking contest going on. People here are eating food. There are some people that came down from the upstairs rooms to get supper, but they then returned back upstairs after having eaten. And the place is full but not overflowing.
And I'll just, when we get a serving, just ask one of the maids, like, is there a place where we can get our clothes washed? Or wash them ourselves?
If you have spare,
I have.
then if you change into your spares, and there is a laundry box at the end of the hall. It would take any valuables from your clothes, but then your clothes will be returned to that same box within an hour or two. Or if you wish to have a bath, if you don't have any spare clothes, while you are in the bath, your clothes may be washed as well, if you wish.
These are my clean clothes. The dirty ones are in the back.
She nods. So if you have a room, there's a box at the end of the hall that you can put the dirty ones in.
Just looking at the table with all the other people with, leather armor and all kinds of special stuff on their armor. That's nice how it is when you have just a robe to wear.
She kind of smiles politely at you, puts down another pitcher of beer, and then heads back into the other room. You see definitely the clientele of this place hews more towards glasses of wine than pitchers of beer, but there's both.
Sun is down already, right?
It's about 8:30, so the sun is low to the horizon. It's springtime.
Then I will go out for a stroll to head to the docks.
Sure. All by your lonesome?
I don't know if other people want to come.
Okay.
If people want to know why I'm going.
Shower and getting in the bath. Or bath and clean clothes.
Right.
Yes. That
Lumi's headed for a bath. All right. So it sounds like Cryer's probably headed by himself. So those of you who are heading for baths, this is a non-communal but gender split semi-communal, I guess you call it, bathing arrangement. So go in, and there is a curtain behind which is a large tub that, as you enter it, fills up with water. It seems to be magically controlled. There is a temperature setting on the side of it that goes from skin peeling down to ice bath challenge. And there is a basket with the word laundry on it to the side of the bath. And there's a small pile of towels in a separate basket nearby. And there's probably four-ish baths in each gender, but nobody's like watching the doors to make sure you pick the right one or anything. And the default setting for the water is warm, but not like I'm going to spend 4 hours in here luxuriating warm. It's more get myself clean and then go. Cryor is BRBing. Iberkeet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make an assumption here. You have spent the last several hours reading your new book as the conversation from your party members went on around you.
Okay, that makes sense.
So could I have an intelligence check, please, from you?
Intelligence is this one.
17. You start, with some study, you start identifying spells of this book. And this book is very much laid out. The first side of a page, or the first pages, like some spells take up, was it 1 page per level or something like that?
Yeah, I think. I don't know if that's true in 5th edition, but
Right.
traditionally, yeah.
So it'll have several pages for a spell. And then there is written in Abyssal, which I don't know if you have or not, several more pages of something. Can you understand Abyssal?
Not normally, but I have comprehend languages as a ritual.
Okay. So you spend 10 minutes to comprehend languages, and I need to find my notes. There it is. So the first spell that is in this book is Mind Sliver. Gotta look it up, which is a cantrip. And the abyssal writing talks about how the author of this book first learned this spell after communing with the abyssal plane, and first used this spell to disorient and damage somebody who they felt had done them, I guess to call it disservice or disrespected their authority. And as you read the second spell, which is Charm Person, you get the tale of how this spell was first used to gain the trust of a young city guard so that they would promote the author of this book, or they would recommend the author of this book for further promotion above their own head and instead of themselves. And yeah, so quickly scanning through it over the course of the next few hours. 16, you were able to separate out 16 total spells in this book. You don't know what they all are yet, but you are able to identify the difference between them and the texts surrounding them.
Okay, so it's like the wizarding equivalent of a recipe website.
Right. Yes, actually very good. Only the recipe, weirdly enough, comes first, and then the long, boring talk about, you know, how this recipe was granted by their grandmother on their deathbed, and you know how this is the perfect recipe that's most ever written, except they had to change this and this about it because, you know, the ingredients in grandmother's day were different and it can no longer get the potted meat that she could get for her that she did, but that's okay because this, you know, Hormel potted meat, hands advertising, is just as good as the one you could get back, that sort of thing, you know, but with like Mind Sliver and Charm Person. Cryor, you head out back in the general direction that you came from.
No, I meant I will go to the east, basically, from where we are.
So over here. Okay, so you head towards the east. There are docks along. So what you see from this side, I should be more specific, is the backside of a city wall. And there are occasionally open gates that you can see piers out beyond them, but it's like there's no boardwalk along, as far as you can tell from the view of this, there's no boardwalk along the outside of this city wall. It's just a dock opening into a gate into the seaward. And as you approach one of these open docks, you can see a dual-masted ship docked to it, out beyond it. And as you get close to the gate, a couple of guards kind of move in to gently prevent you from passing through.
I will just ask them, what's the best point of view to look at the ships?
They point for public access.
I don't want to look up close. I just want to see them. A good look at them.
There is, in the dock ward, there is a near the, and he takes you for a tourist because of. Yeah. There is a building about 3 stories tall, just beyond the teleportation circles, just to the northeast of the teleportation circles. So that is probably the best public viewing place for the ships of the bay.
But that's a couple hours of walk, and I see just a beautiful ship here. I just want to see it a little bit more. What do I see of the ship, by the way, at this point?
It is.
Do I see it fully in the water and how big it is?
Yeah.
Do I have it completely in view?
Yeah, you have it completely in view. There's.
Okay.
or at least mostly in view. There's 2 masts. Sails are not, of course, they're furled. They're not unfurled. They're withdrawn. There's probably
Stowed.
Yeah, there's probably 5-10 crew that you can see pretty easily. A couple of them up in the rigging. A couple of them just kind of lounging around on deck. It is tied off to the dock itself in several places. There's like 4 gangplanks leading from it to the dock. It's not like a super active ship, but it is all by itself out on this empty pier that leads directly to this gate.
Yeah, but it's probably the biggest that I've seen ever.
Oh, this is far and away bigger. Like, you've seen canoes before, or maybe a skiff with like one small mast with a small sail on it.
Yeah, or sort of barge by Fuji or something.
Right. So this is a building on its side, as far as your perspective goes.
I never thought it was possible.
You never thought
But
what
the
was possible.
books are right. They still float, no matter how big.
Oh, that the guard on your right kind of thumbs over their shoulder and goes, they get way bigger than that.
Do you have them in the dock somewhere?
I don't know if there are any. I don't know if there are any currently docked. We're just here guarding this one.
I'll just make some sketches of it and return to the pub or the inn.
As you leave, one of the guards, the one that didn't talk to you, shakes his head, and you overhear tourists.
I ignore it. I've never seen a sail ship before that big, or a sail ship at all. Well, not a professional one.
Yep. You head back to the Color Animal Inn. The evening proceeds on. Those of you who want baths are able to bathe. Those of you who want clean clothes are able to get their clothes washed. Those of you who wish for ale or tea are able to consume those as well. And the night falls, and you guys have a very gentle, like, these beds are, they're not the most comfortable, maybe not the most comfortable beds you've ever slept in, but they're comfortable. It is quiet, surprisingly quiet, given the activity downstairs and the level of city that you are in. Those of you with arcane knowledge can tell that there is some sort of silence spell cast on the windows to prevent them from leaching city sounds in. That is suppressed when a window is open, but is fully, when a window is closed, is fully intact. The evening falls, the sun rises. By the time you awake, Zari, Oscar is gone. And you guys can all take a short rest if you need one.
I think instead of a short rest, I will ask Lumi before I go to bed to do maybe some healing. To save some hit dice. Above table, sorry.
You're fine. We can background that. As you guys come down, breakfast is a, like, eggs as you desire, and bacon. It's all served at the at the bar. The tables themselves have been cleared away to let the floor be like swept and mopped. So as you guys sit up to the counter, there is coffee being brewed behind the counter, as well as bacon and eggs, and there is a younger boy of about say 12 or 14 who is currently like toasting toast on a fire on a fire off to the side of the room. Risha comes down looking dressed to the nines.
Risha, are you going to do your work today in that dress?
No, we're going to the council first.
True, true. Nice.
Oscar is nowhere to be seen by any of you.
He was sleeping with Elrose?
Zari.
Zari didn't notice? Sorry? Where's Oscar?
I guess he went out early this morning to talk to his contacts. He snuck out. He snuck out on me. Of course, I'm a fairly heavy sleeper, so.
I don't trust him, but he's not playing open card for some reason. Or open hand, how do you call it? He has something up his sleeve, I think.
With cups of coffee. Oh, go ahead.
You're too suspicious. I just think I think his duty is to the First Lord, and he is concerned about Tiasa. I mean,
True. He will uphold that. And I'll drink all my water or light beer.
Light beer, absolutely. They would offer small beer as well. Really low alcohol percentage, but brewed drink. Okay. So after breakfast, which is rich and hearty and only slightly burnt toasted bread. What are you guys up to? Oscar said he would meet you this afternoon for permanent housing.
Well, I guess we go to the castle ward. Looks at the party. Risha's dressed for it.
yep. I say we go to the council and see what we can do.
So you guys head out of the Color Animal Inn. The day is bright and sunny. It's mid-morning probably by now. It's not a very long walk up to the castle ward because these streets are wide and open. And as you get close to the bridges crossing the river, you see that nobody really crosses these bridges. Like, the bridges exist, but everybody who is in the sea ward appears to be staying in the sea ward. And the people you see across the way in the castle ward are also staying on their side of the river. And as you get to the bridge, about the third step across it, you see a couple of city guard looking people step out of the middle of the bridge and just wait for you to approach. You could probably bowl them over or slip past them if you wanted to, but it's pretty obvious by their stance that they are there. They are there to intercept you, to prevent you from just crossing the bridge.
Well, who has the fancy letter?
So Zari just walks up to them and is like, excuse me, is there a reason why we cannot pass through here at the moment?
You are outsiders to the city. What business do you have in the castle ward?
She pulls out the letter. We have a letter of introduction from the First Lord of Ava to see one of the counselors. We have information for her.
The guard takes the letter from you and casts a spell. Arcana, for those of you who would like to identify the spell. Oh yeah, Iberkeet. You're very familiar. With a 9, not so much. So with a 28, this is sending. And with a 28, I'm going to say you get the front half of that message. You're able to like understand. This person says under their breath as part of the spell, group of, I'm assuming like, except for Risha, all you wearing your armor and carrying your weapons and stuff. Because he didn't tell me otherwise. So
I don't wear my armor.
You know what I mean. But you have your weapons.
Yes.
This person says group of adventurers to see Bitra. They have a letter of recommendation. And then there's a pause. And then the letter is handed back to you, Zari. And the gal who took it from you looks you over once more and says, you are invited to the castle to speak with Britta. Your weapons will be confiscated at the castle gate.
Thank you very much.
And they step aside to let you pass. It's pretty obvious to whichever of you has the map. It's pretty obvious where the castle itself is. It's this building up here. It is not a very long walk. The thing that y'all notice, especially those of you with higher perception checks, it's not the outhouse. The thing that, especially those of you who have higher perception checks notice, is that there's never a guard. You are never without a guard being able to see you. And the city streets are definitely less well traversed now than when you were in the Sea Ward. But you are unmolested as you approach the castle gate. The gate itself is down, but there is sally ports, basically human doors, on either side of the main gate, and one of them is closed, and the other one of them has a guard standing in front of it, and when you get close, they say, "Right this way, please." And I need to know, is anybody going to try to hide any weapons?
What weapons?
Fair enough. You don't even have a scythe?
Yeah, what
sickle?
weapons?
Oh, I left that back in Miiva with the half troll to improve.
Oh, right. That's been a while ago. So they take any obvious weapons from you. Let you give here. How about I put it this way? They let you give them any obvious weapons that you have, and as you enter the room, there is a small tone that plays, and one of them says, "I will need any extra dimensional storage as well."
So I left the big box back in the inn.
Sure.
And I have the haversack. So suppose I hand over the haversack.
Okay. So, does anybody try to hide any weapons?
I have the bag of multiplication with the bag from the rats in the sewers way back. Is that multidimensional?
That is not extra dimensional storage, no.
Okay. Now my staff is quarterstaff is a quarterstaff. People know that as a weapon.
Yeah, you're not getting away with the old man leaning on the staff. Oh, I'm so old. No, they're going to take
Yeah.
a long stick away from you.
I will just hand over all the weapons.
All right.
When you realize you had more weapons than you thought, I'll hand over all my weapons. It's like 8 of them.
Yeah, they get 5 darts, some knives, and quarterstaffs. And...
It's pretty obvious that as they take the weapons from you, these are all going into an extra dimension. Like the extra dimensional spaces don't. They're hung on the wall. But
why not?
The extra dimensional, the weapons all go into an extra dimensional space, and at the end of it, you are handed a ticket that has the number of the extra dimensional space on it. And then you are allowed to enter the castle ward.
Just as a fun question, are shields considered weapons?
You would be allowed to keep your shield.
Okay.
Or shields. I suppose you have more than one of them. If you have both of them on you, but you are allowed to keep your shield.
Okay.
Technically, no, shields are not weapons. Although fighters can do fun with shield bashes and stuff, but as you guys pass through this sally port, at the all of the interior doors are closed and locked, and there is a single door on the far side that has a young woman dressed in like a nice dress, not like super fancy dress, but a nice like linen dress. She has a cloak on. Perception check, please, anybody. Pair of eyeglasses, dark brown hair, freckles across her nose, lighter colored peachish skin. Those of you who got more than a 15 on your perception check notice a wand at her side, and a book at her hip, like in a, you know how in fantasy anime they have like the book tied to a belt on their hip. Yeah, that. And she says, if you would follow me, please. She is almost painfully young seeming. She's 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 maybe 18, which is younger than most of you, I think. But she has that like super clean, scrubbed, never been in danger, like kind of baby fat sort of. I mean, she's not fat, but she, has the cheeks have never known hunger sort of look on her face. And she goes, if you don't mind following me, I will lead you to Bitra's chambers. And she heads into the castle proper.
I'll give a little nod and follow.
So you're led into this place. There are like much of this floor, the lower floor of this castle, is a bunch of, I guess you'd call it office spaces. So you see pillars holding up the ceiling with big open sections between them, and desks face to face with chairs behind it, people working, and it's just big and open, and to a surprising level. Like, this place doesn't seem defensible at all. If somehow an attack got into this space, you don't think that it would be possible to defend it until you notice that there is magical runes written on most of the pillars in this place, and that the desks, none of them, the area between pillars is never blocked by office, basically never blocked by furniture. And there are literally hundreds of clerks scurrying back and forth, filling out paper, handing off paper, reading paper. Somebody wearing similar outfit to your guide comes in from the outside holding reams of paper, hands it off to a person, goes back outside. This place feels like a office building.
Are they building a library or something? And they just have to print the books themselves? Or write the books themselves?
Your guide kind of goes, no, that's just what we need to keep the city running. Got to make sure everything flows smoothly. Trade coming in, trade going out. Reports on the city, making sure that there's not too much crime or too little crime. All of the things that make a city possible come through here. And she goes, left here, and she turns into a side hallway and then takes a right down the hallway, and you guys are led deeper into this castle, and you have the distinct impression that this path is not straight. And it's not level.
Going up or going down?
It's not steep in either direction. You're not 100% sure. And it's longer than this castle seems from the outside. And your guide is counting under her breath. 102, 103, 104, 108, 110, 96, 97, 99, and she stops. She turns to the right and goes, I will check. Counselor Bitra shall see you soon. And she steps through a wall. And you are alone.
Yeah, I want to say I'm gonna poke the wall with my quarterstaff, but I don't have it.
If you poke the wall with your hand, it is a blank wall. You're not 100% sure where the light in this the hallway is well lit, but you don't see sconces for light fixture. You don't see magical lights. You don't see a special glow from any surface. But the hallway is well lit, well ventilated, and there's just this. If you stand with your right shoulder against the wall and look forward, you can see the curve of the wall turning so that you see the left wall some distance away. But you didn't take any turns. And after about 10 minutes of staring at each other, the gal comes back out and says, sorry, the letter?
Zari hands over the letter.
Thank you. I'll be right back. And she steps back into the wall again.
I guess this is why they take the extra dimensional spaces?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, if this is an extra dimensional space and you stick one and you bring one in here, I guess it explodes?
That's what the books say in theory, but I don't think there's ever been tested or something. I don't know. It just says warning, don't do it.
Warning, not recommended for life. She
And lots
steps.
of theories about what's gonna happen if you do. So I don't know what's gonna happen. They just say don't do it.
The wall fades into a door, and the door opens with a ominous creak, and the gal comes back out, and I really should get that looked at, and goes, Bitra will see you now.
Are the hinges visible on the door?
On the non-hallway side, yes. So the door is open, and there are visible hinges with the door open.
I got some default oil with me.
Oh, no, thank you. It's fine. I'll send somebody to get it fixed. This way, please.
Zari follows.
Okay. You're led into a fairly comfortable feeling waiting room. There is there is a window viewing the bay on one wall of this room. There's a couple of big bookshelves full of books that mostly look to have been organized by color of their spine. Part playing elevator music. No, but there is a magical device playing a very low tune, kind of in the corner. And there's a couple of really comfy chairs. There's I forget what the proper term is, but the thing that holds like glasses in a decanter for alcohol, against one corner. But the gal who's never introduced herself, leads you past this waiting room, and opens the door to an inner office, which is mostly bare. You see, sitting behind a large, dark wooded desk, older lady. She's large built, relatively short but like broad build. She has tusks in her lower jaw, a couple of big scars on her face, on the left hand side of her face. Dark curly hair that is shot through with streaks of white, pulled back to the back of her head in a like a tight bun is the wrong word, but a poof kind of on the back of her head. Along the back wall, there is the same view into the bay behind her as there was in the other room. And to the left of it, there is a great axe hanging on the left, your left, her right hand side of that. And on the other side of the thing, there is a Flamberg greatsword with the swirly blade. Swirly's wrong. The Flambergs generally have like a sweet. Never mind. I can paint a picture of it later. I know what I'm talking about, even though if I can't describe it. And she looks up over the letter and says to the gal who let you guys in, and says, "Thank you, Iris. You may go now." And as you all filter into the room, the gal with the wand bows and heads out and closes the door behind her. And she's as you guys arrange yourself around the room, she says, "Please have a seat." And she looks at the letter and goes, "What does Julie have for me today?" And I think we'll go ahead and end the session there. So, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It has been great having you here. Bye.